Greetings, this is Dr. Bill Bailey, and this is VirtZine. VirtZine is the online magazine of virtualization and cloud computing, and I'm glad you could join us for this edition of VirtZine. Now, a lot of these articles go back a ways, all the way back to October, because I've kind of been waiting to get enough information to do a VirtZine netcast. So let's jump into it right now. By the way, before I do that, we are proud members of the Tech Podcast Network, techpodcast.com. If it's tech, it's right here on the VirtZine netcast. We're also proud members of the International Association of Internet Broadcasters. All right, let's get into some of these articles. Some of them are pretty exciting and different. Dell bought EMC. I should say they're in the process of buying EMC for $67 billion. Now, EMC owns VMware, so you see the VirtZine tie-in here, virtualization. What does this mean for VMware? VMware stock took a dive of 30% when it was announced that Dell was buying EMC and therefore had a large share of stock in VMware. Now, I think folks are going to be getting over that because Dell has promised, Michael Dell himself has promised, they're not going to touch VMware. And I hope they don't because VMware is doing very well. Just let it earn you money, Michael. All right. Citrix is scaling back. They've dropped Zen Server. They're getting rid of the GoTo products, and they're laying a lot of folks off. Ooh, okay. What's that mean? Well, Citrix is starting to hone in again back to its core competency. And I tell you, this is a shocker for those of us that have been supporting Citrix for a long time. Now, we know that the former CEO of Citrix left the company some time ago. He retired again. He already retired once. Well, he retired again. And they've had anemic growth. So Brian Madden, who is a well-known blogger covering the virtual desktop infrastructure space, wasn't impressed by the figures that were released recently for Citrix. For 2016, Citrix is setting a goal of 1 to 2% revenue growth, which, he says, let's face it, is code name for zero. They're not expected to do very well next year. Now, I'm a fan of Citrix. I hope they do well, but it is kind of interesting that they are taking a bit of a dive as they are. Now, there's so many technologies out there, VMware View, for instance, that are competing against Citrix, particularly Zen Desktop, which is what they're concentrating on now. And of course, the Zen app virtualized publishing for applications is a big part of their market. So we'll see what the market forces are going to be doing to it. Now, containers for Microsoft Hyper-V. I've told you for some time that container computing is very important. Well, Microsoft has recognized that, and they now have containers coming to Windows Server 2016. So this is big news. Although Docker has had a large lead in container use and hype, challengers crop up every day, and that is the newest offering from Microsoft built around its core hypervisor, Hyper-V. Microsoft released Windows Server 2016 Technical Preview 4, providing a first look at Hyper-V containers, an additional development option for those looking to create multi-tenant environments. Hyper-V containers offer a higher level of isolation, which offers better security according to Microsoft, and it's available for download now along with the new System Center 2016 Technical Preview 4. Lots of things happening on that front. And then this one is pretty exciting. I was talking about how I'm kind of a fan of Citrix. Well, imagine, if you will, a Citrix VDI client for $50. I know that got somebody's attention because it's a Raspberry Pi, which is a $35 computer, actually the Pi2. $35 computer. Then you put ThinLinx, which is their version of Linux for the Raspberry Pi 2, and it causes it to become a high-res graphics client for a total of $50. That's the Raspberry Pi 2 and the ThinLinx operating system plus Citrix client all built together. We're talking about full high-res HDX support for a Citrix Zen Desktop client. So imagine little tiny computers, you know, the size of effectively a cigarette pack, that you could put down, connect to a monitor, keyboard, and mouse, and have a full-blown Citrix Zen desktop session. Pretty exciting stuff, and it is released in Citrix's blog. The Citrix blog has this article, and I've quoted it here on VirtZine. VirtZine.com, of course, as it says there on the screen. You can go check it out. And this is really pretty exciting because they go through all the possible uses of this. People looking for a $35 HDX accelerated endpoint with Linux VDA and OpenOffice, you have a seriously cheap yet capable VDI solution. Of course, finance and federal, large enterprises, healthcare, which is, of course, the space that I'm in as a systems architect for UNC Healthcare. Kiosks for nurses, doctors can be easy to maintain and so cheap that you can just pull it out and replace it rather than spending time trying to fix it. Imagine that. That's pretty exciting. Of course, the military, if something gets blown up or lost or whatever, thin client refresh cycles are long, often 5 years or more, so you can afford to upgrade and refresh more often with a Pi used for 3 years, which will cost less than $1 a month. Pretty exciting stuff. So check that out. Go to VirtZine, read the article, click through and read the entire article, and I tell you what, this is exciting stuff. Try it. And also there are some YouTube videos showing how fast and responsive it is. Try it in your own lab and let me know what you think. I'm going to do the same thing. Remember, until next time, to keep your head in the cloud.